Boy, oh boy. Well, we've got a really great game here for you this evening. We got the Boston Braves and the New York Giants playing. The season's still young. We're still on April 23rd, but both these teams are fighting for first place at the moment. The Braves are 4-0. Giants, I believe, are 4-1. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are also up there in the National League at 4-0. And without any further ado, we'll get right into it as Dave Coslow gets Eddie Stanky to pop out at center field for the first out. Bob Elliott up now. Ball one to Elliott. Braves being good. Ball two, he takes it. Braves being good in 1948 might seem a little bit odd to you if you look just at the record books as Elliott pops out to third. In comes Mark Rickard, takes a strike. You might think that's a little bit odd as Rickard takes strike two. You might think it's odd that they're playing well, but honestly, if we were in 1949 right now, you wouldn't think it's that odd. National League champions. Swing and miss by Rickard, down on three pitches, and here comes Johnny Sane. Just as you remember that spawn, stain, pray for rain, refrain. I wrote about that a couple weeks ago. 1-1 pitch to Gordon, and he pops that one up foul. I wrote about that a couple of weeks ago, and when you really look at the 1948 season, you'll realize that it was more than just spawn and sane for the Braves. They were a little bit fortuitous that September, as Gordon goes down on strikes. That's why you like Johnny Sane. They're fortuitous that December with certain rainouts and with cancellations and with a schedule that gave them certain numbers of days off. But the 48 Boston Braves are a better team than you think. Sane getting behind Marshall now 2-0. Marshall takes high, and that's another ball 3-0. And 3-1, Marshall has to pick up his bat. Little quirks like this. It's this is the thing that makes us love Diamond Mine baseball. Is these little play-by-play quirks that we like. There are other quirks with this game. I was talking earlier today with a person on one of the Diamond Mine baseball forums. There are other quirks about this game that we wish were maybe remedied. You know, one of the most famous ones that's been an issue for years now is the lack of a undo button for computer manager decisions. Marshall retired on that ground ball to third, 2 away. There's a ball to Bobby Thompson. Anyway, there are a couple little quirks that we wish were remedied, but it still is a good game. 2-0 on Bobby Thompson. Bobby Thompson is one of those, or Thompson, I guess, one of those players who, as the 2-2 pitch comes, one of those players known for one thing in history. He strikes out here. And it's kind of unfair. I mean, it is good for him to be known for hitting that home run in 1951 to beat the Brooklyn Dodgers. But, you know, it's kind of a sad thing when people only know you for the one thing that you did and know you for nothing else at all. He had actually a pretty good career. Torres been thrown out at first on that 2-2 pitch, one out here in the top of the second. There's one of those tense, exciting games as Tommy Holmes comes in, takes the ball. Striking out of Holmes, 1-1 pitch comes, and he fouls that next one off. Dave Koslow, I don't know very much about. A lot of these Giants I don't know too much about, but we'll learn them. We'll learn to know them as the year goes along. Didn't have a great year if you care about won-loss records, but pretty good ERA and pretty good in terms of opponent's batting average. 0-1 pitch now to Russell, ground ball to Rigney, and that gets him out, and the Braves go down quietly in the top of the second, and up for the Giants now. Whitey Lockman takes the ball, and there's ball two. You know, the thing is that it's kind of hard these days to know exactly which statistic you're supposed to look at and which one you're not, right? You're not supposed to care so much about all the stats that we have here, the ERAs and, you know, all the raw numbers. What we care about these days, I suppose, are all of these special rate statistics and so on and so forth. Sane gets beat on that single to left field by Whitey Lockman, and now instead of talking about stats, we need to start thinking about what we're going to do in terms of base running. So the way that I usually approach this in Diamond Mind is, you know, we do definitely want to be a little bit careful that we don't overrun these guys, but really I don't care so much about exactly how many attempts they have. What I care about here is the game situation and how I want to manage and how I want to run. Now, Lockman's only got that fair rating for a jump rating, and I look here at the infield and see that it's a fairly good infield, at least average, and figure that, yeah, maybe we do want to send him to try to get out of the double play and know that, you know, if he does wind up with a stolen base attempt out of that hit and run, he's got a pretty good chance of making it. Some would look at, you know, Mozzie here and see what his ratings are. You can also look at Johnny Sane. Take a look and see what his hold rating is, so it's fair. I can't remember if it's the first or second. I think it's the second one here that will tell you that. So, I mean, you know, it gives you sort of a hint that, you know, maybe we should they're yelling balk on that one after that move to first. It gives you a hint that maybe we can get away with running. And there you go. And he's safe on the stolen base. So that little bit of sort of intricate managerial strategy at the beginning of the game worked. And here comes the 0-1 pitch now. Sane missed badly with that one, 1-1. And, you think, well, who cares about this? And I know that the refrain today is, oh, stolen bases don't matter and it's too much of a risk and stuff. It may be a risk, might be that you don't want to steal with every player, but man, when you do it right, it gives you a nice situation, right? So right now, instead of worrying about the double play, you've got a runner on second base with nobody out. You have a chance to get something through in this inning. I think that these days we're a little bit too spoiled with all the home runs and the power hitting because it's too easy to score runs when you're dealing with, say, 1949. It's not exactly difficult, but you don't have so many games where you score 10 runs. All right, they're trying a play on at second base. And see, this is what happens here. Johnny Mize gets a base hit. Lockman will run home. Keep Mize at first. Let's see if he scores. Oh, my goodness, and he's thrown out of the plate. I'll tell you what, if I had 100 different chances to run this play, I probably would have done the same thing 100 times. I think it's obvious to try to send him home and to try to score that run, that crucial first run in a game between two teams that are near the top of the standings. And, you take a risk. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I'd always send him. And Lork with a long fly ball to right field, but it turns out to be a long out. Now, you really have to use your imagination here in the Polo Grounds. You can see this is one of the reasons why I love these Diamond Mine park images, by the way, these sort of park renditions. I know that a lot of people like using, the pictures that have been fit so that the players are in the right position. But with this rendition, you can look at it and you're thinking, okay, was that here? Probably not to this part of right. Maybe it's hit up here or something like that, and you can kind of see in your mind's eye where that ball's going. I don't know, to each his own. For me, when we first bought this game, my dad and I, this was actually this picture, I guess, or rendition of the Polo Grounds, for example, was one of the selling points. I remember the old literature that we got in the mail back in the old days when you would get stuff like that in the mail. Rigney strikes out, and that does it for the Giants in the bottom of the second, and we'll see how crucial that decision by the manager was. And Dark bounces it off the plate, and Mozzie then comes up next and bounces it over to third base, 2 outs really quickly. Sane takes the curveball outside, and then Koslow comes back with a strike. Another ball by Koslow. And a quiet fly out to center field, and it's been a sort of a quiet game so far. But we know what happens already on this channel when you have quiet games like this. That doesn't necessarily mean that nothing's going to happen. We got one away here in our half of the third inning. And look at that. Koslow comes up and gets a little base hit. He comes up and just lines that ball right straight there past the first baseman. And you got a runner on first now with 1 out. No way we're running. We're not running a play, not with the pitcher on first. Gordon misses that first pitch, and then the next one misses, 1-1. So here you go again, the computer manager throwing to first base to check on the pitcher. Maybe you can pick him off, maybe you can't. And I have a problem with the computer manager doing this, right? Because, Sane doesn't have that good pickoff rating. You're just wasting my time. I'm not running with him. Who's going to run with him? All right, 3-1 the count now to Gordon. Sid fouls that one back. And boy, Sid Gordon hits a triple, has a triple on the next pitch, scores the pitcher. And how about these Giants, huh? How about these 1949 New York Giants? Not exactly the team that you would think would be in first place so early in the season. After sweeping the Brooklyn Dodgers, they're playing pretty well, I would say. We get our little picture of this here, and then we can go ahead and keep going with our game. I guess we could be bunting with Marshall. I'm not that desperate for run scoring, though. 2-0 now on Marshall, and Sane, I tell you, Johnny Sane just didn't have the same year in 49 that he had in 48. When you look, and he's behind now 3-1, when you look at the 49 Boston Braves and you say, what could they have done to repeat? If they had a better year from Johnny Sane, they would have been able to repeat. Oh, here's a question. So it's a little bouncer towards the mound. Do we go for the second run or not? It's always hard to say. Other games, so I'm hitting no here. Other games will have, a percentage that pops up and tells you. In this game, you just got to go straight off the play-by-play and say, okay, well, where do I think this pitch is, or this ball is? How close is the pitcher? Should I do it? Should I not? Take a chance. One of the reasons why I like it is Bobby Thompson fouls that first one off. One of the reasons why I like it this way, and Thompson just grounds out to third, and that does that. One of the reasons why I like it this way is because you need your players, a replayer, to take some risks. Otherwise, one of the problems with the old app of baseball for DOS and later baseball for Windows game, for example, is that people would not take those risks in those situations. And if you don't get the outs on the bases, you don't have enough outs. I mean, it really is a problem when you're thinking about these games. As Eddie Stanky takes a strike, ball to him next, 1-1. Stanky hits a little fly ball out there to Thompson, who does the old Willie Mays on it before Willie Mays was even in the majors, before Willie Mays was even a thing. 1-1 now on Bob Elliott. And there's the first hit for Boston that comes with one out here in the fourth inning. We'll do a little collecting of that memento as well. Man, I tell you, 1949, you think about 49 with all of the walks. That's what I think about when I think 1949. But there was some good pitching, and we have seen already in this replay a number of games in which, pitching has been crucial right from the beginning. This is not a year and not a season to sort of take lightly. 0-2 now on Marv Rickert, and he gets another base hit, and Elliott's at third base. And I tell you now, the Boston Braves have something cooking, and we'll see what happens. It's early, but I would say that this is definitely a very, very crucial part of this game. That's the way that it is with baseball, right? Especially when you have two good pitchers on the mound who are probably going to go deep into the game, and runs will likely be at a premium. We have Earl Torgerson up now. I mean, he's not going to bunt, but I'm still going to play the this infield in. Sorry about this. Linux is not putting me back into the virtual machine. And we're going to see if we can't get a double play. That's not going to do it, though. Instead, he drives it right back to Whitey Lockman there in left field, and he scores the tying run on that sacrifice fly. It's always a tense moment, and there's always a crucial moment in these games when we get to circumstances like that, right? Any run you can score in a game like this can be important. And you don't know what's going to happen in your replay as the count now to Tommy Holmes is 1-1 with Rickard on first. You don't know what's going to happen in your replay. It may be the case in your replay that something odd happens and one of these two teams does end up doing it here in the end. Little fly ball to right field there by Holmes, and on we go to the bottom of the fourth, and it is a whole new ball game. 1-1 now, and Lockman takes a strike, and the next is a ball by Sane. Fouls one off. A little grounder to Dark at short, and there's one away. And here comes the seasoned veteran Johnny Mize, who bounces out weakly to Torgerson at first. Lork now takes a ball, another ball. I tell you, Sane just doesn't have the same control in 49, but he pops that one up to Elliott, and we're up to the top of the fifth, still 1-1. Russell takes the ball now, and little pop fly there to right field, and we have a trio of, as it says in the play-by-play, New York dudes. It's more a trio of fielders out there. And it ends up being Marshall making a backhanded running grab, which makes me wonder, was he playing the game? Was he playing wrong? If it's a shallow, fly ball, how is he backhanding this? That's kind of an odd mental image for me, but we'll take it. 1-1, the pitch now to Dark. He takes a strike there below the letters, and then a ball up. And he hits a long one there to right field, but no problem for Bobby Thompson. And let's be honest, it's a long way to center field here in the Polo Grounds. 1-1 now to Mozzie, and now it's 1-2. Phil Mozzie. Account even now at 2-2. Doesn't get the call. And there's a walk. Koslow with his first walk of the game. Koslow, 212 innings pitched, only 43 walks. And you start wondering, why is it that I haven't heard of this pitcher before? This happens a lot with these guys in the 50s, or late 40s, early 50s. Bottom of the fifth inning, a little sort of, swing there by Rigney, who winds up with a base hit out of it for his efforts. Here comes Walker Cooper, and we have another one of these situations where we got a guy who can run. We can't exactly steal. And the question is, okay, so do we try to get out of the double play with the hit and run? Walker Cooper, I can see, has this one of these extreme splits that everybody, of course, cares so much about. 314 against lefties, 179 against righties. And interestingly enough, he was used more frequently against right-handed pitching. So I'm guessing that he probably wasn't platooned that much in real life. I showed before in an earlier blog post. I mean, you can do a lot of research into this if you really want. You'll notice that he's faced a lot of lefties so far here in the replay. Interesting thing to note, we'll just probably just go ahead and swing away, even though it's against a right-handed hitter. I don't think that we're going to want to run with Rigney because I worry about Cooper just missing the pitch. 2-0, and with Sane pitching like this, we might as well just swing away, let him walk. Well, there was a double play ball, but Boston wasn't able to turn it and just get the out at second base. Now there's one out with a very slow runner on first, and we got a bunt with Dave here. Dave Costlow up now, drops a beauty down the first base line, and they do retire Costlow, which is good. And here comes Sid Gordon now. The old refrain back in the 70s from the old-time players was that players these days don't know how to bunt, and the art of bunting definitely was lost, I think, and is still lost today. Gordon whacks that one to left field, scores the run with a double. And I tell you, that bunt that we just saw, that bunt suddenly is looming very, very large, isn't it? It suddenly looks like it was a pretty important play, wasn't it? That one little play where we always say, oh, we don't want pitchers hitting anymore. Who has any need for any of that sort of strategy? I'm telling you, if the people in Major League Baseball these days, if they would take the time to go back and to play some of these games and do some of these replays, the people running the show, I think, would realize that, you have legislated away strategy in the game. There's no wonder that the game is declining in popularity. Because when you play something like this, all of a sudden it's fun. Now, what happened here? Marshall with the ground ball to Alvin Dark there at second base, throws to first, throw gets away, and ends up with a two-base error, and that scores the third run for the New York Giants. And here's Marshall at second base, and we still have 2 outs in the inning. Boy, that's kind of not what you want to see happen from the world champions, isn't it? Another one of these crucial situations, and a game that I would consider to be an early crucial game, and you got to make the play. I wonder what the attendance would have been here if the New York Giants were actually in first place in real life. I didn't even look ahead of time to see if this was really a night game or a day game. Yeah, it was a night game for us because the kids are asleep now, right? Thompson, little ground ball to second base, that ends it. 2 runs, though, for the Giants, and we go to the top of the 6th, 3-1. Stanky takes the ball, now grounds one foul just outside the line. Fouls another one, 1-2 the pitch now. Gets his base hit there to third base through Sid Gordon, poor fielder Sid Gordon. He's not in there for his fielding, he's in there for his bat. You can say that I think a lot about third basemen over the years. It's always been sort of that power hitter's territory. 1-1 pitch now to Elliott, who takes the ball. 3-1 now on to Elliott. There's a little pop fly behind first base, and Lork makes the play. And it looks like Marv Ricker lost his bat there as he swung and missed. It must be a heck of a fastball that David Costlow has. And they're running there with Stanky. I didn't take a close look to see what is Stanky's stolen base rating is poor. Not really much of a runner. Was that a hit and run play? Yeah, it was. He swung and missed. They missed the hit and run, and Stanky's thrown out at second base. Not really even close there. And, you really have to wonder about the decision-making here, again, by the computer manager. I could see if you're down by 1, deciding to take that risk and run with Stanky. But when you're down by 2, if you score him, then congratulations, you're still down by 1. Only 3 stolen bases out of 8 attempts in real life. 0 for 1 now in the Diamond Mine replay. A part of this is my fault, right? I'm looking where I'm batting him first, but that's because I'm not using this sort of idea of, we have to have the base stealer hitting first. We want, and boy, it's a line drive that Mize catches for the out. We want the guy who gets on base hitting first. That's what we care about. We want somebody on base, and let's see if we can drive him in. A little hard head ground ball by Lockman. First out at shortstop. Johnny Mize now comes up, hits a base hit over past second base. And here comes that strategy again. Lork can bunt. Maybe I should bunt with him. Boy, I'm really curious to know, by the way, and the thought just comes to mind where you might be as you're listening to this or watching this and what it is you're doing. If you're assuming you're not driving, if you can, why don't you take a little time, leave a comment, let me know what's going on, and I'd be kind of curious to know how you're doing. Lork gets that bunt down, and Mize is in scoring position now, though with 2 away. I think that's the way that you would really play it if you were in 1949. Definitely not the way you play it today. And here's another thing that you wouldn't see today, which is this intentional walk to a Rigney. One of the things that marks baseball of the late 40s, early 50s, and into the 60s is the excessive, I would say, use of intentional walks. So it's pretty realistic. You'll notice that I'm not going to walk a whole bunch of guys, but we'll let the computer manager do what they did in real life. Why not? That brings up Walker Cooper, who is hitting pretty well, and we did see already a lot of his good hits have come against lefties. Probably was a good decision by the computer, but you never know. Sane gets ahead of Cooper with a quick strike, and there's a ball now. The problem, I'm going to say this now, with these splits is something that we call sample size, by the way. I mean, what does this tell you? Even the 112 at-bats, is the sample size enough to really be that much of a significant and representative sample? We can talk about that a little bit later. Look at that base hit and a little bit more by Cooper, who hits a triple. I tell you, Walker Cooper hitting a triple, that's definitely worthy of saving for posterity. That's one that you should wake the kids up to come down and see, because that's not something you're going to see every day, I'll tell you that. Walker Cooper hits the triple, and this is what I was going to say about the intentional walk strategy, which is that, it pays off when it pays off, but you just added another base runner. Instead of this being a 4-1 game, now it's a 5-1 game. Now it's possible that if you pitch to Rigney, that Rigney hits a little pop fly and we're out of the inning, and instead now it's 5-1, and what was a close game is in danger of becoming a blowout. And look at Koslow getting the base hit to drive in the run. 6-1 Giants now. Sid Gordon now takes the called strike, 0-1, and now it's 1-1. Gordon laughing about that pitch. That play-by-play is a little bit overused here. I wish, oh man, that's an error by Johnny Sane that's going to go down as a base hit. I was going to say I wish that Jack Wood would create more play-by-play updates for us in Diamond Mine, but it looks like that's not going to happen per the forums. So what happened here on this play is there's a little ground ball that Gordon hit to the right side. Torgerson grabbed it, looking for the pitcher coming, and Sane, who probably is not much of a runner, poor. Sane just wasn't over there by the bag. They talk about that all the time. You work on that play all through spring training. And these are the world champion, the National League champion Braves that we're talking about. And anyway, there's a base hit by Marshall, and that gets Sane out of the game. Bob Hall comes in, and the bases are loaded with who coming up? Bobby Thompson, the big power hitter of the New York Giants. And yes, Bob Hall better be prepared to throw strikes. Well, it doesn't matter that way. Thompson first pitch swinging, and the Braves are out of it. 6-1 now, though. Fastball clubbed out there to Marshall. Loud out, and here comes Holmes, who takes the strike. And now it's 1-1 after Koslow wastes a pitch. And now there are 2 away as he pops that one also out to a Marshall. Russell up there takes a strike, and now a quick ground ball out there to Gordon, and it's a routine inning for the Braves. 1-2-3, and 1-1 now the pitch on Lockman, and now it's 2-1. Hall with the pitch and gets him swinging, 2-2. Hall, not too bad of a pitcher, about as many walks as strikeouts, It looks like he had some sort of problem with right-handed hitters, and I've inadvertently stacked the lineup here with lefties, and so it is. I mean, I'm not going to get this deep into the little platooning strategy. I'm more interested in playing the games, to be honest with you. Lork comes up. This is the same situation that we had before. When it was a closer game, I would have bunted with him. Now we'll just let him swing. Belts it to right field, doesn't do anything, just allowed out. There's 2 away now, and here comes Rigney, takes a ball. And that one's right down the middle of the plate for a strike. And now we got a 2-1 pitch coming, and now it's going to be 3-1 there as that one came close to hitting Rigney. And he just pops out to left field. And here we are in the top of the 8th inning now. A little ground ball to third base again. I don't know how many ground balls to third base we've seen by the Braves here. And only 80 pitches there by Koslow, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 8th. And here's Konatzer, Clint Konatzer coming up. 2-0 pitch to him. Now it's 2-1. 2-2 now. And he swings a ball 4 there. Now there's a full count. Got fooled by a breaking ball. Hit a little quiet ground ball to shortstop, and it's the bottom of the 8th inning. Walker Cooper back up. Probably still thinking about that great triple. Thinking about the fact that he's hitting 364 on the season. That's not going to last for long. Cooper hits that big chop down to third base, and the home crowd stands and applauds. And Koslow gets his first double of the season. I'm going to say first hit can't be right if he's 3 for 3. His first double of the season, and the home crowd stands and applauds his performance. And you love seeing that. That's one of those play-by-play little snippets that I just love to see in Diamond Mind baseball. One of those things that when you play other games you don't quite see, and boy, you sure wish that you see it. I don't know how you feel about it, right? I don't know what your favorite game is, but for me, if I try to play anything else, I just think about Diamond Mine Baseball. Now, I do like to play other games, and I will warn you, we will play other games on this channel, but I always find myself coming back to the best. 2-1 the pitch now to Gordon. Takes the strike 2, and now we got a full count on him. Swung on him, belted up the alley to left. Yeah, watch out, but not really much going on. And I mean, it's 6-1. We're not going to run up the score on him. 1-0 pitch now to Marshall. That one's a fat one right down Broadway. 1-1, and now it's the 2-1 pitch comes in. He had a rip. Now it's a full count. And boy, Barrett comes in and walks Marshall. And here comes Bobby Thompson again in another one of these clutch situations. No hits in this game, 0 for 4. Let's see what happens here. Bottom of the 8th. 6-1 Giants. 2-0 now to Thompson. 3-0. They're going to walk him. Yep, they're going to walk him. I'm going to say there's an option when you're pitching to pitch around the batter, and that's what they were doing there. I guess you want to pitch to Whitey Lockman instead. We'll see. Yeah, there's a little ground ball to third base, and that's the end of that. Now we'll see if Dave Koslow gets that complete game. 3 hits allowed so far by Koslow. Little grounder to Stank. He's not going to do much. Second pitch. The second batter comes up. This is Bob Elliott again. 1-1 pitch. Hits the ball out to left field. 2 away. And here comes Bill Salkeld. Bill Salkeld is kind of a common sight when you play with these Braves. 2-1 now. Now it's 3-1. And boy, Koslow had him way out in front, swinging way out in front of it, reaching for that pitch, and it's a simple ground ball, and that does it. And there is your ball game, 6-1. The Giants get the win. And I thank you very, very much for joining me this evening as we play this game. Like I said, I'm real curious to know where you are, what you're doing as you're watching or listening to this. Leave a comment down below. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And most importantly of all, subscribe. We're going to do one of these every day. I love doing this. The nice thing about this project is that it keeps me honest. Make sure that I play a little bit every day so that I have something to present for you. We're going to keep going through. I'm not going to show you every single game, though I've shown you a couple in a row now. I just want to show you the most interesting games, the games where we have the most interesting stories. Right now, the most interesting story is this New York Giants team that looks very, very strong early here in the 1949 season. And that was a very good game by them and by Dave Koslow. And maybe for the next sort of player feature I do on the blog, maybe we'll do something about Koslow. I'd love to do some research on this pitcher who I really haven't the faintest or foggiest clue about. Anyway, with that, thank you again very much for joining me. Hope that you're doing well. And let me know where you're at and what you're up to. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.